Right. Okay, now we have a guest, and the guest will join us later. It's Mr. Guy Cook, and he's sat in the green room. And whilst we get started, right, okay. Hello, Tina.
Hello, Stephen. Hello, everyone.
All right, and can you see the live feed underneath? Yep.
Yes.
You can. Guy, can you see the live feed as well?
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. Okay. All right, we are we are moving. This is just we're just showing the flexibility of BeLive of light stream. Let's get back to normal and
live stream on BeLive in 5.
Yep, it is. Right now, I suppose it's a question of where do we start? The last time we did a repurpose show was back in September.
It's been a little while. Yep, we've been using and repurposing the whole time. We just haven't done a show about it.
Well, that's true. We did the talk show, and now we're doing repurposing shows. And I think that more people are involved in live streaming now and need to know more about repurposing, especially of Facebook Live videos. So if you are watching this live, if you could comment, that would be most helpful. I'm just going to check that we're actually live on the page.
We are. I see it. I'm watching it. We're live, and we currently have 5 live viewers. So thank you to everyone who's watching.
Oh, brilliant. Indeed, thank you to everybody who's watching. If you could, I'm just going to refresh my page because I can't see it. If you could comment, that would be most helpful, because I want to be able to see the comments in here. So just type in anything you like, type in hello. We're on Lightstream, and this is partly a test to see whether the comments is actually working or not.
It is. So hello, RJ and John and Corinder. They've all left comments for us. If you're watching, and you let us know if you're repurposing your lives and what you're repurposing them for, or how you're repurposing them.
And
I've seen a lot of people repurposing their live videos, and obviously they're editing and paring them down, but they're repurposing them and turning them into video ads, which is proving to be a really effective ad strategy.
It is, and it's the live video does need editing, doesn't it? I mean, if you can download
if you're going
it.
to use it for an ad, certainly you'll want to edit it, because your ad, people usually go live for some length of time, and your ad can't be that long, so it will require some editing.
Indeed, and I mean, I use an editor called Screencast-O-Matic, which nobody's heard of. Oh, I got a thumbs up from Guy, and okay, brilliant. I got a thumbs up, so that's good. Thumbs up from both of you. In fact, this is getting confusing. Shall we bring Guy onto the screen?
Yes, I was going to say, people are wondering who we're talking to. If they've just joined us, they don't know we have a guest in the green room. So
yeah, we're going to bring Guy onto the screen, and I'm just going to size things up. Just give me a second. And move there and there. Okay, just while we are getting ready, and send that to live. And in a moment, you should see live on screen Mr. Guy Cook. And 5, we're going to do a countdown here, because 5, oh, we're there. No, we're not. We're nearly there. Yes, we are.
Yes, we're here, and our friends are here. I see David Burrows and Peter Stewart's joined us. And hello, Corinder. He says Tina. So, and there we go. Now we have our guest on screen. So you know who we're talking to. And I should say, if you hear disembodied voices, my husband is over here doing stuff on his computer. So he's pointing at me.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, in terms of repurposing.
The reason I was curious is You know how I was saying earlier when I was in the green room that you guys have microphone indicators below your picture? I don't
Yep.
have, and I don't know if it's just curvature of the earth or what causes that, but
No, you
could
can
be
see
operator
ours, but
error.
you can't see your own because I can see the two of you guys, but I can't see mine. So it's just
Okay.
for some reason we're not allowed to see
If
our
I
own.
go like this, then you'll know your audio dropped out. Okay, that's the signal.
Well, as the host of the show, I've got all three microphones.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh, so that's it. I'm not a host, so that's why I don't see you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and I wish that all the platforms we use, whether it's Lightstream, Be Live, whatever, would give us the option to mute ourselves when we're not talking.
Yeah, would be good. I mean, that's
you can mute
what we
us. The host can mute anyone, including themselves, but you don't know if I need to mute because someone's just walked in my door, or it'd be nice to have that option on our end. As
so
guests.
if Mr. Shang gets really loud and he's using colorful adjectives that aren't appropriate, yeah,
that's never going to happen.
Yeah,
no.
that has never happened.
We deny all knowledge.
Yeah.
Yes, this show is no longer PG, so.
No, we should be going out after the watershed after 9 p.m. Then we'll be totally covered. I mean, that's the watershed time in the UK is 9 p.m. And if you're going to swearing and nudity and violence have got to be, well, don't have to be, but they've got to be, can't be shown before 9 o'clock.
Well, we don't have that. We just have the colorful language. We don't have the nudity and violence. Unless you count me throwing something at my husband for his colorful language.
Speaking of colorful language, reminds me, back in the olden days when I got my broadcaster license to be a disc jockey, and this is eons ago, in the 70s, it was called Bet Your License, because you had to really watch your language. You couldn't say shucks or anything.
Wow.
That was considered even borderline, because the FCC, we had it imprinted in our brains that they were listening every single second to every station in the world. So if you said a bad word, they'd come take your license off the wall. That's it, your history. Now I watch TV and, oh, this must be cable. Because they're really colorful language now. But I digress. We're here to talk about repurposing. And my question, the reason that what prompted me, is it best to repurpose within your network? That is the community of websites you have that are you, like if you have StephenHealy.com, for instance, you're going to repurpose there long before you're going to repurpose at TinaShang.com. Or is it because she's going to give you juice by having a link back to you, you'd rather do it to an external site when you repurpose?
I've got to say that's a darn good question, because it brings up a topic that we haven't discussed before. I mean, we're used to sharing our own content, and I share Facebook Lives and YouTubes onto StephenJHealy.com on a semi-regular basis. But we've not talked about it, have we, Tina?
Well, I think you should always share within your own network. Obviously, it just gives you more coverage, but it's probably not as valuable as sharing outside of your network, because you're going to pick up a new audience there.
Yes, and an example of that is an influencer. Okay, when I started using Appear.in to do recordings, they said, "Oh wow, cool." And one day I had like 119 downloads, just whoosh, which is normally like 20 or 30. Okay. So if you share to an influencer, or what, they've used that word for months now. I'm not sure that there is such a thing. But anyway, if someone's got 1.5 million users watching you, it's going to definitely make an difference. And where I tested this was, there's a group on LinkedIn. Hush falls over the crowd. There's a group on LinkedIn called Social Marketing.
Okay.
It's the biggest group on LinkedIn. And if you're going to repurpose something, I think that's a good place to put it. That's one of the places that I put things, because of their huge number of followers. even if you get 1% of 1,000,005, you're doing really good, right?
Yeah, I
So
mean,
that's go ahead.
You sharing your content into groups and into other places that you can access yourself to share outside of your network is still different than having someone pick up something you've done and share it themselves. And I think that's more powerful because they have essentially told all of their followers, whether that's 300 followers or 2 million followers, I like this well enough that I shared it with you.
Right.
And so I think, and you can help that along by also sharing other people's content. Don't share stuff you don't like. If you don't like it, other people probably aren't going to like it, especially people who are in your network because they obviously follow you because they have some kind of kinship with you. They like what you do. So don't just share things for the sake of sharing it or thinking that that person might pick it up. Don't have that kind of ulterior motive. But if you find something that you genuinely like and you share it, the person who created it is going to see that share. And if they like what you're doing, then they may also share something of yours. And so just, I think it's, if you can share outside of your network, you absolutely should. Try to create stuff that's good and interesting so that other people will also share.
Well, the post that I read or an article, I read something that said, if you're going to use links to your content, do it within your post. So like today's episode of the Guy Arquette Report, little shameless plug there, the conversation was about Google My Business and how important it is to local search, et cetera, et cetera. In that post for today, I referenced a post that I did back on January the 9th, where I said, hey, you should do this, Google My Business, blah, blah, blah. So in a day or two, I'll have analytics to determine if I was getting reference made to that article has resulted in an increase in stats. WordPress.com, God bless them, gives you really good stats.
And you will, without doubt, if people are viewing the new article that you wrote and they're viewing it because they're interested in the subject matter that they're reading, they're going to go back and look at what you referenced. And so, that's an excellent way to repurpose. There are things that you've done that either maybe you made a prediction about something or you're an early adopter and you started using something. And so you've been talking about it for months before people really understood it and became interested in it. And so that just kind of verifies you as an expert in your industry by saying, I've been doing this for this long, and people will go back and check out what you've been talking about all along.
Yeah, like Stephen just mentioned Screencast-O-Matic. I've been using that tool since 2016, since Eileen Smith first told me about it. And it rocks.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
And repurpose.io, which is our sponsor, and a wonderful tool that helps you automate repurposing of your content. We've been talking about it. Is it
somewhat like, I'm not familiar with repurpose.io because it sounds like an Apple thing to me.
It's not an Apple thing.
Okay.
It allows you to automate the sharing of your live.
So like when you schedule a tweet, it's like that, except you could schedule the whole thing.
Stephen could probably explain it better than I can, but you can set it up so that when you do a live, then your live will automatically be shared to your blog or to YouTube or whatever. And Stephen uses also, he attaches, Stephen, what's the thing that you use? If this, then that. That's what I'm trying to think. So he sets up if this, then that, so that it does even more. But it takes one piece of content that he's created and shares it on multiple platforms. And then you can also choose to have the audio stripped out and a podcast created. And that's done automatically as well.
With if this, then that? Really?
With repurpose.io. But uses if this, then that with repurpose.io to get it to do even more things. So, it's a wonderful tool. It does a lot and can handle a lot. Stephen has his dashboard is full. Yeah.
3 magic words. Is it?
It's based who's the CEO, has a saying: "Set and forget."
Set it and forget it. Yep.
Forget it.
But no, it is not free, but it is an affordable tool.
Okay.
And it will save you in time. Right. How valuable is your time? So it's going to save you more than what you're paying for it. But what I was going to say is, we've been talking about repurpose.io for a while now. And, we've had people who've adopted it because of what we've told them, but the kind of boom in live streaming is happening now, where there's more people live streaming. So it becomes more relevant. And so we come back around to discussing repurpose.io as a tool, but then also repurposing in general, which doesn't